I'm a convert. It took me a little while to sort of figure things out, but now it's super easy to create new stuff. I've burnished my reputation internally by being able to build things for my colleagues. I think that the firm operates more effectively because we have Sigma, and I hope that you can benefit the same way. I work for Blackstone. I've been here for about a year in our credit and insurance business. Blackstone is a world-leading alternative asset manager. I work specifically in our credit and insurance business. It's in workflow, it's on the ops side, it's on our investing side, it's in data gathering, it's in idea generation for investing. It's in a whole host of different places. At Blackstone, we work hard. We work hard for our clients, but what we also do is the firm is really committed to learning how we can give back to the community. We have our Blackstone Charitable Foundation, and we really try to get the employees engaged in helping their wider community. One of the things we do is we have a few times in the year where we get behind a common firm-wide goal. So in the fall last year, it was our Global Fight Hunger campaign. And sort of unknowingly, I volunteered to be one of the captains for our division. I didn't quite realize how much went into trying to drum up interest and excitement for engagement in this really important endeavor. And so what I learned is that in years past, we had done a live auction where people from across the division had donated events and items. But what we found was that there were some challenges with this because you had to get everyone in the same place at the same moment. We had some challenges getting people from other offices involved. Some of the items maybe made sense for a live auction, but some of them maybe didn't, and so we couldn't get the full set of things. We also ended up with actually a lot of items, and it took a pretty long time to go through it, and that also was somewhat of a challenge. And so what we thought was, why don't we supplement this with a silent auction? The question was, how do we effectively build a site that has a good user experience for our employees to donate, makes it easy for us to add new items? And the immediate thought I had was, I can whip this up in Sigma. It's going to be super easy, and we're going to make it, and it's going to look pretty cool. People are going to be impressed that they can do it, and they're going to be excited about it, and we're going to be able to drive more engagement and more participation in the campaign. So essentially, this is it's a bidding site, right? You can have a set of items, you can select an item, you can select how much you want to bid, you can set minimum increments, you can have a time limit on when the bids are available. You can see what the history of bids are. You can go back, and we linked it. We actually built an auction book, and so we linked back to the PDF that was available there. We linked back to the page where if you didn't want to bid on an item, but you wanted to simply directly donate because you were inspired by the cause. And so it was something where you probably could have done a janky thing where you create a shared Excel file, and you hope that people don't delete the things and put the right numbers in the right place and obey the rules around what minimum increments are. And you probably could have done something otherwise, but it wouldn't have been slick, it wouldn't have been clean, it wouldn't have been controlled. We wouldn't have had all the data in a place where we could look at it later on. It wouldn't have been something that we could think about reusing in other contexts. So what Sigma's allowed us to do with the input tables, with the actions, with the links, with rendering of pictures and the such, is create in a couple of days, when I had extra time, or maybe a week as extra time, to build an experience where we could engage our whole office in a silent auction, as opposed to buying an off-the-shelf product or creating a crappy Excel spreadsheet. I'd say that people were actually really excited about the app because I think that they were impressed. They sort of felt whoa, what did we do? How do we professionally create something that looked so real and so polished so quickly? And essentially the way we did it was we announced on team meetings that this was going on. We sent emails. I went across the floor and mentioned it to different people. I think it was really just about getting the word out. And I think the other piece was the help from other people across the org. Once they saw it, they're like, oh, have you seen the site? It was pretty cool. You should check it out. That really helped to get people engaged. I run our analytics org for the CIO office. So I do have a deep technical background. I was the chief data architect in my one of my previous roles, I ran our analytics org. I have a long history with data and not as long a history, I'd say, of using BI tools. So I think that the fact that we were able to build this so quickly, I think, is a testament to the ease of the platform. What I will say is the set of items that you're going to see here are a little bit pared down. I didn't want to put other people's pictures up on the screen without getting their approvals and the such. But essentially what you see here is a set of items that are available for bid. And here I made an example. Maybe they're courtside seat at the Knicks. Maybe there's a weekend at a spa. Maybe you have like a set of exotic wines that you can get. And so essentially someone would go here, see these are the different items, what the expected price is, what the current bids are. And they can say, no one's bid on the spa yet. I'd like to bid on that. Let me go and click on the spa. But let's say we want to bid here. Say I want to bid 500 here. You can see that it'll update and it'll say that we have a $500 bid here, and I can look here and I can see the set of bids. It started at 200, went to 300, went to 500. You can see how much money in total we've raised, the number of bids, the number of bidders. And so it's an easy way for someone to come back in here and see what's available, what are the latest bids, am I winning? You can see a picture. But if we sort of go behind the scenes here, you can see the way that we built this. Here we go, that's our bid that's in here. And if I went back here and said, no, I want to bid 525, it's going to say, no, actually, I didn't accept that because the minimum bid is $50. And so it didn't accept that incremental bid. But if I went to say 600, now it'll go and update that bid to 600. And you see the raised bid, the number of bids updates, and you can see that update here is went from 500 up to 600. And so people can come back if they have it open for a while and they want to see what's happening. They can hit refresh and get an updated data. We actually, as I had mentioned, updated people when they got outbid. So every time you were a winning bid, but then someone else bid on top of you, we'd get an email that said, hey, you've been outbid. If you want to win, come back to the site and rebid. So you sort of saw a little bit behind the scenes already, but essentially real users wouldn't see this data tab. This is just for me because I was the administrator for the site. You had a place here where you could put all your lots. So these are the things that could be bid on. It's as easy as saying new item. This is an awesome thing you want to bid on. So if I just save this, here's my new item. So it's easy to add new items. And then this actually is where we collect all of the bids. And essentially that's done by when we submit here, if we go into Explore, we can see there's an action here. So we can control whether we accept the bid on both accounts to close the bidding and to enforce our current increments. And then we can similarly do things about refreshing all the different tables and the such and making sure the page is responsive to what we're doing here. So we're using the input tables, we're using actions, we're using the ability to do all the different joins and the such. Here, I thought this was a nice fun thing where you can render URLs. And so these are the pictures that we see in our directory. And so that would also give a little bit more of a professional feel and engage our users. In the whole campaign, each of our divisions were allocated a certain fraction of the total amount that we wanted to raise. Our division actually was given the highest goal. And I'd say with the help of this and other events, we actually met and surpassed our goal by, I think, about 30%. So people really enjoyed the experience. They really got engaged. I think we had upwards of 100 bids and bidders engaging in all the different items. I think we had 20 or 30 items that were up for bid. And I think that it really helped to drive excitement and engagement. And I think donations. In New York, I think we supported City Harvest. And so we were really proud of being able to make a sizable contribution to a local charity that's really helping those in need. Don't worry about doing everything all at once. The app here started out as just like a single table, right? And then we can add in the pictures. Oh, we can add in the bid history. Oh, we can get the number of bidders. We can add pieces. You don't necessarily need to have a fully fleshed out application right from the beginning. Start small and expand from there. I think the other thing I'd say is definitely use the live chat with your colleagues at Sigma. I think I've used it so much that like I think I know the different quirks of the individual people who are on the chat and like what they do and what they like and the emojis they like to send and the such, but they're really helpful. They're willing to like go and look at your app, debug it, like help you think through how to get things done. Don't be constrained by what you think you can do. I'd say be expansive in your ideas and really try to push the envelope, because I think there's a lot of things that you can do that are pretty creative if you figure out how to get it done the right way. I'd say that one thing is Sigma keeps on evolving and being responsive to things that you can do and do better. The actions have been evolving and expanding. So I think the breadth of things that you can do and how that expands, I think, is one thing that excites me about it. I think it offers a doorway so that those who are not as technical can do things that are actually pretty technical and don't feel scared about doing it, can help broaden out the ecosystem of people who are able to engage effectively with data, whether that's exploring it for themselves, whether that's sharing it with others, whether that's collecting and creating new data. I think that all of those are great things that Sigma offers. And in particular, I think the thing that really is differentiated is the idea of the input tables as a way to expand the data set you have. It creates a whole new domain, apps that you can create beyond your sort of traditional BI. And I think that's been part of the reason why things I might have done somewhere else, but I say, let's just do it here, because I can, if I'm ever going to need to get some data, I can add it in. I don't need to rebuild. I can start straight from what I've already got. I'm a convert. I started initially, it took me a little while to sort of figure things out a bit. As I said, I used the help to really help me figure out and navigate and learn. But now it's super easy to create new stuff. I think I've burnished my reputation internally by being able to build things for my colleagues to help them move faster and move better. I think that the firm operates more effectively because we have Sigma, and I hope that you can benefit the same way.